Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Welcome, everybody. Come on in to Successful People.
Lawrence Van Hook, also from Oakland, California. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, Oakland. Come on in.
Hi, Bob. Nikki from Vancouver Island. I brought a friend.
Oh, well, bring them on.
Gordon in Dublin here.
Hi, friend. What's her name?
Sandy.
Sandy. Hello, Sandy. Welcome, everybody. I see Molly's here, Bill's here, Ken's here. Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Lawrence from Oklahoma.
Oh, Lawrence. Oh,
From
Ali.
Oklahoma.
How are you doing, Ali?
Hi, Ali Hushman from San Diego.
Scott. Hey, Scott. We're working closely together now, Scott. Paola. Very good.
Hi, Bob. It's Simba from Zimbabwe.
Oh, from Zimbabwe?
Yeah, it's Simba.
From Zimbabwe. Wow. Amazing. All right,
Gordon in
everybody.
Dublin.
Yeah. And Gordon. Gordon, where are you calling from?
Dublin, as always.
Dublin, California, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, not Dublin, Ireland. Okay. Ken, where are you calling from? Where are you calling from, Ken? You're unmute yourself. There's a little link at the bottom left-hand corner. See that microphone?
How you doing, Bob? Good to hear you.
Where are you at?
From Dublin here in Ireland, the other side of the pond.
Welcome. Tamara, welcome. Danny. All right, everybody. Our recording has started. Welcome, everyone, to this COVID-19 session where we're learning how to get through this amazing crisis, right? We're meeting every Thursday on this call called successfulpeople.com. I'm going to announce today we're going to have some special guests joining with us. Last time we asked how many of you wanted special guests. You said you wanted a Brian Tracy, so I've reached Brian, and he will be with us in 3 weeks on May the 14th. So put that on your calendar. We'll be able to pick Brian Tracy's brain, the smartest man I know. And so these calls are called Successful People, live with Robert Allen and special guests. That's going to be our special guest for the 14th of May. So put that on your calendar. And then anybody else that you think you'd like to get on the call, always put it in the chat. In the chat, I have put 2 things for everybody here. I've given you a link to download the Blue Vase. And we talked a little bit about this, the Blue Vase Audios. This is a series of audio programs about a story called The Go-Getter by Peter B. Kine. This was a best-selling book in the 1920s. So I'm going to give you the link to download this book and the audios that go along with it. It's been dramatized. The book is dramatized into audios, and these audios have been, they're fun to listen to. So when you click on that link, it should take you to Dropbox, or you're going to be able to download those right onto your computer and listen to it and enjoy it. We'll be talking a little bit about that today. And in addition to that, for those of you who have not yet downloaded a copy of the 4MAPS book, here's how you'll download it. That's the second link in Dropbox there. That'll be able to download the 4MAPS audio book, or 4MAPS book itself. And that's what we've been talking about here. Okay, hold on a second. Let's bring this up. So let me share my screen. Can you see that? I hope you can.
Yes.
You can see it. Very good.
Yes, we can see it.
This is the 23rd of April, 2020, putting it all together. I'm going to share with you an image from this book that I like a lot. This book was written like 4 or 5 years ago. Essentialism by Greg McKeon, is that how you pronounce it? He basically saying you should only focus on what's essential and get rid of everything else. In other words, just do the essential stuff. And there was a chart he shows in this book that I took a photo of. And on the left-hand side, it shows where all the ways we could expend energy. Lots of little things, lots of little energy in lots of different places. And basically what he's saying is you should stop most things and take that energy and focus it on one project. In my case, when we're talking about the 4 maps, I'm talking about 3 projects. But just having 3 projects, money-making, business-oriented projects in your life is enough. But most of us spread our energy in all kinds of different directions that we don't have enough energy to get us into space. And when we look at the space shuttle, you'll notice that there are 3 big energy canisters on that space shuttle. In order to get that space shuttle into space, it requires 2 outside energy, fuel canisters, and 1 huge fuel canister in the middle. And it's all filled with energy. And guess how many seconds it takes to get that ship into space? It takes 8.8 seconds to go from Earth to space. 8.8 seconds. When they count, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, 8.8 seconds. After 3 or 4 seconds, the first 2 fuel tanks drop off, and the main fuel tank keeps pushing it forward higher until that one drops off. And there is a little extra energy inside the space shuttle itself, and it finally gets into its orbit. And then what kind of energy does it take to propel that spaceship? It takes, as my mentor, Stephen Covey would say, it takes the breath of a baby. But it takes enormous energy for 8.8 seconds. Now we're in the middle of a crisis. I'm going to say you give yourself 90 days or 88 days. Let's call it 8.8 days. 88 days, so that within 88 days, where are you going to be in orbit? Well, whatever you choose to be your orbit, you could do that. You could do that. If you say no to everything else and just focus while you're living at home on 2 or 3 projects, you could do almost anything. You could lose a lot of weight. You could get a 6-pack ab. You could find a mate, find a spouse. You could launch a business. You could earn a stream of income. There are just 1,000 things you could do. And why don't you put it in the chat right now? Why don't everybody go into the chat and say, what would you like to do in the next 90 days? If you could focus all of your energy on just one thing, so you could get into orbit within 90 days, what would you like to accomplish? What would you like to do? And I want to see it. I want you to put it in the chat. I want you to think about it first. Let's take a minute. Ponder. See, 88 days from now is sometime around the 1st of July. By the 1st of July, you will either be living your current life the way it is now, probably back to work by then. Still some challenges with the virus, but your life is pretty much in a pattern. And what COVID-19 has helped us do is to break the pattern and to wake up. And we get to ask ourselves, we're sitting at home with all these extra hours we got, or maybe with kids running all over the house. What do we want? What do we want now? 90 days from now, where do we want to be? So go into chat now and tell me where you want. What do you want? Hey, from Allison. Oh, Paula from Italy. We got Shimrashe from Zimbabwe. however you say that. Okay, good. Annette says she wants to create a membership site. Okay. Nikki says she started writing a book and she has 583 words written. Well, if you just wrote 583 words over the next 88 days, you'd have 40 to 50,000 words. Now, if I take, one of my books, this book right here has over 100,000 words in it because it's two books in one. It's a book on the right-hand side, it's the fictional story, and the left-hand side is nonfiction. So there's really two books in here. But, 40,000 words is a kind of a normal book these days. It's shorter, it's smaller, could be an ebook. Yeah, you could do that. It's just like get up an hour earlier, write 500 words, and you'll be done by that. Andrew Fawn wants residual income. That means that's orbital income. That's income that flows in without you expending energy on it, right? Create one stream of income, says Ramina. Launch an internet business, says Victoria. I'm completing a book, says Gail. Good, and we're working together on that, Gail. Great. Get my business started, which this book is part of the process. That's good, Tamara. I need one paying internet income. 2 more online training programs. Oh, good, John. Paula says, study Alfio's commodities training program. Well, Paula Alfio, who is Italy's main information money-making guru, she is at a program that Alfio is teaching in Italy. And now Alfio is going to be launching online. He's in the next 90 days, he's taking his programs that have been land-based. And because Italy shut down, he had to pivot. And he has to turn his entire business into a totally different model. And now it's working. I talked to the president of the company this morning, so I know it's working. I have it from firsthand knowledge. Let's see. You want a successful real estate investing business? How about Allison, you have one property. You buy one property that's positive cash flow. Molly wants a health coaching business. Patrick wants to learn a new language. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? A passive income opportunity, says Devin. Get my online business to the next level. Israel says to master Forex trading, want to be healthy and have super energy, and to start up 2 spaceships. Okay. Nicole, business back on its feet. Finish the ebook. Start live coaching. Get my job back on its feet. Get my certification. See, there's so many things you can do. You just have to choose what that is, because it's so easy to be distracted. So back in the chart for essentialism, looking back at that chart one more time, to have the courage to say no to 12 little things, and to take that energy and to focus it on one big thing. That is the concept we're talking about here. That's what I call burst, is you put a burst of energy towards launching yourself in a personal habit, in a relationship, in money making, weight loss, whatever you burst your energy towards. Is it possible? Absolutely possible. But most people won't, because they'll be distracted by a million little things. But some of you will be in orbit in that one thing you chose to be in orbit this week. So as you look back on the earth, where everybody's struggling down there, stuck in their little habitual patterns that don't generate long-term results. They don't have a results generating activity. An RGA is what I want you to be doing every single day. And RGA, it happens to be my initials. So this is an acronym that I'm familiar with. An RGA. Every day, you have to ask yourself the question, is what I am doing, is that a results generating activity? Does it generate a result? Okay, so what is a result? Well, it means it gets you closer towards your ultimate objective. So There are a lot of things you can do that don't generate a result. This call right here, with us talking right now, all of us here today, is this a results generating activity? Does this generate a result? And I hate to tell you this, but no, this does not generate any results. With the time you're investing right here, you're learning from me and I'm giving you some ideas and you're maybe taking some notes and maybe deciding to do some things, read a book I'll share with you, listen to an audio. Does it generate a result? As you look at the things you said you wanted to do, the things you wrote down, you said you wanted to be a Forex, you wanted to master Forex trading. Does this, what we're talking about today, right now, help you master Forex? No, it doesn't. Reading a book about Forex trading, does that help generate a result? No, it doesn't. Reading this book right here, does that help you generate a result? It's a wonderful book. I think everybody should read it. It's part of your preparing to take action. And every day you prepare. You study, you learn. This is a preparing call right here. But a results generating activity is where you go in the world and you get yeses and nos. Bottom line, did somebody say yes? Did somebody say no? That's the result you're looking for. You're going to offer your program to the world. Do they say yes or do they say no? If they say no, is that a good thing? Yes, you got to know. That's a result. If they said yes, is that a good thing? Yes, that's a good thing. You got a result. Maybe you generate a little revenue. Maybe you got a date with that love of your life. Maybe you asked somebody to go out and they said no. Is that a good thing? That's a result. A yes or a no. So most people mistake the activities they do every day for a result. So let's go back to our chart here. These activities, this energy you expend, you can expend it in a lot of different ways, but does it generate a result? When you go into the world, are you ready to get a yes or a no? And most people mistake what this chart means. They think, well, I'm expending a lot of energy, doing a lot of time, and I'm studying a book, I'm reading a seminar, vice versa. I am pondering, I'm thinking, I'm meditating, I'm praying. Does that generate? None of those things generate results. They're wonderful. You should do them. They are part of your preparation for the day. You meditate. Yes. Does that generate a result? No. Does it get you ready to go into the world and generate a result? Yes, it's important. But by investing that time, myself reading the scriptures, does that generate a result? No. Gets me ready. Gets me ready to go in the world. So this 90 days is not about reading a book or studying a seminar or a webinar that you're at. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about within 90 days, you will have created a product or you'll be marketing a product where you're going to introduce it to the world and they're going to say yes or no. And if within 90 days you don't have the product where you're exposing it to the world where they say yes or no, then you haven't done enough. You have to say, I'll read less books. I won't come to the successfulpeople.com or Successful People Call with Robert Allen. Now, of course, I want you to come, but I want you to learn while you're here that when you're done with this call, it's out into the world, getting yeses and nos, getting rejections and acceptances. For example, if you want a six-pack abs, does reading a book about six-pack abs get you a result? No. Does doing one push-up, is that a result? Yes. It's an action in the world where you're saying yes or no to your body, and your body is saying yes and no back to you and giving you some stress as that one activity you're taking. Yes, if you're doing one action to build a result. Just one action. It's better than reading a book about it. Do I make my sense here? I really want to drive this sense home. These RGAs, these results generating activities, are really essential to your success. Now, the book, the 4 maps, I ask you to draw 4 maps every day. Does that generate a result? No. Is it important to do? Yes, because it prepares you. It gets you clear, gets you confidence, it gets you to plan in the future, it gets you to your to-do list. But your to-do list is not about reading a book. Your to-do list is about getting into the world and getting yeses and nos, right? And actually having results that can show up in your life. So I hope I'm being clear on that particular concept. The energy you expend is about getting yeses and nos, okay? So when we get into orbit, we get into orbit because we've faced real rejections and real acceptances until finally, if we want a residual stream of income, if money is your goal, if that's where you want to get into orbit or orbital money flowing into your life without you having to work for it again, it's meaning you're going to get a lot more yeses and nos in the next 90 days. The energy you expend is getting rejections, not being afraid of those rejections. Being above the world, looking down and saying, this is the way ordinary people live. They live their life. In fact, sometimes they live their entire life and never really get anything done that really makes a difference to the planet because they're stuck in so many little things. We don't want to do that. We want to look above from the earth and look down and see the world from orbital eyes. So as we're looking at from orbital eyes, I like to think of making residual income. So you never have to worry about where the money comes any longer. Where is this? Anybody, can you tell where this is at? This is beautiful part of the world. This is Dubai. And that's one of the tallest buildings in Dubai, a beautiful hotel. Where's this? And you're into orbit. This is Bora Bora, one of the most beautiful islands in the world. And I've been to Bora Bora many times. When I was a missionary in Tahiti when I was 19 and learned how to speak Tahitian and French, this is where I learned those languages, and got to fly over this island when I was 19 years old and could look down and see it. And then eventually brought my family back to Bora Bora and took them on a jet ski all the way around that island. It takes about an hour to go around that island on a jet ski, and it's unbelievable. It's just fantastic. Where is this? Well, this is Shanghai, China, and these are 2 of the largest buildings in the world. They are building the largest building, well, the second largest building in the world now is in the pad just behind it, where the second largest building in the world has been built in Shanghai, China. I've been to the top of all 3 of those buildings and looking down on Shanghai. Where is this? This is Egypt. And there's just so many places in the world that are spectacular. And right now we can't travel to them. We can't go there. We'll be able to go there next year. But it's nice to be able to imagine yourself above the way ordinary life is. What's this? This is the center of the Renaissance in Italy, the 1500s, 1600s, Florence, Italy. This is, of course, taken today, but beautiful city, all red roof tiles. Where's this? This is Kuala Lumpur. And those 2 twin towers in Kuala Lumpur, there's a bridge across them, and I've been across that a couple of times, taught a seminar in Kuala Lumpur. Wonderful city. Where's this? Well, this was taken about 4 or 5 years ago. So this, you can see the place where the Twin Towers used to be in New York City, Manhattan. And now there is one big building there where the Twin Towers used to be. How about this? Anybody recognize where this is? There's a little clue, and there's one of the buildings. As soon as you see it, you go, oh, I know where that is. Bottom left-hand corner, is that the clue? Yeah, that's San Francisco. Look at what the world is. It's just an unbelievable world. This is Shanghai again, where they had the World's Fair in Shanghai. And I went there to the World's Fair. It was fantastic. Where's this? Just what a world we live in. I can tell you that every one of those skyscrapers was a thrust, a burst of activity. And what they had to do is they had to go really deep for a long time. They had to go deep to, hold on just a second. They had to go deep to drive the pylons deep into the ground. And they had to go deep, 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 deep before they started to build up. And so what we do every day with the 4MAPS strategies is every day we go deep. We do our ritual every day. We prepare ourselves. We prepare ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically by driving the pylons deep into our earth to make ourselves more centered. And then we go out in the world and we get yeses and nos. So your skyscraper is based upon the habits you spend every day to build your skyscraper. You're digging down to the bedrock of your life and making sure that you have a solid foundation to your life. And then you start building up this foundation until you reach the ground level. But the foundation is deep and strong. And you may not be generating results because you can't see the building rising above the ground level. But eventually you start building floors on your skyscraper. Eventually your skyscraper is done, like all of these skyscrapers here. They all started the exact same way, and you are a skyscraper. You know, that's what your life is. And when you're done, you're going to have something to show for it, right? Guess where this is? That's Sydney, Australia, and the Opera House in Sydney. Been there, loved that, fantastic experience. How about this? Where's this? See all these skyscrapers? Which one of those skyscrapers do you want to be? Because your life is a skyscraper. You build deep, and then you start. And then when you read your obituary, what is your obituary? It's just the description of your skyscraper. What kind of skyscraper did you build here on this planet? What did you leave? Did you leave anything to let the world know you existed? Is there family, friends, relationships? Do you have a book you left behind? As my friend Lisa Sasevich says, don't die with your book on your hard drive. Did you get it off your hard drive? That's part of the visual part of your skyscraper. This is Tokyo, by the way. And the way you know it's Tokyo is you look down the bottom right-hand corner, there's this cocoon building in Tokyo. And when my wife and I went to Tokyo this last month, the beginning of March, we came back on the beginning of March, just before everything blew up. When we were there in Tokyo, they had closed the schools down the week we were there. And there was no, there wasn't shutting down of the country yet. That happened last week. But we stayed in a hotel right here in this section of the town. I think it's the brown one. The brown one that you see there, that's where we stayed. Or did we say, I think maybe we stayed at the one at the bottom left-hand corner. That's where we stayed. At the KO Plaza, that's where we stayed. Anyway, where's this one? Well, there's just one little signal, one little hint right there. It's black and white, so that's the Washington Monument, and you can see the Capitol on the right-hand side and the Washington Monument on the left-hand side, and you can see the Lincoln Memorial at the bottom left-hand corner, and you see, or no, let's see, that's Jefferson. I think the Lincoln is at the end of the mall, isn't it? And where's the White House? Can we see the White House on there? There's the White House. Yeah. So all of these skyscrapers represent your life and what are you building? And in the next 90 days, you're going to build something. You're going to build something that lasts, that you're going to be proud of. And you're going to focus your energy on results generating activities, getting yeses and nos until you have something to show for it. And that's going to be every day you build your foundation to deepen it. And every day you'll do that. No matter, even your skyscraper is building upwards, you'll still be excavating downwards to give yourself a deep, deep, deep foundation. But at the end of these 90 days, what are you going to show for it? Right? That's my question I want to ask you. Now the 4 maps, I got an email from somebody, these were the 4 maps that we've been talking about over the last period of time. Bottom left hand, or the top left hand corner is the clarity map. And by the way, all of these maps are found in the link in the chat, the very top of the links, top of the chat. I gave you 2 links to download. First, the 4 Maps book, which is this book where these maps come from, and you can download it as my gift to you. And also the Go-Getter book, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. So these maps we've been drawing, and some of you have been sending them to me. I'm looking at them. First map is getting clear about what you want. What more important preparation for you to go out into the world and get yeses and nos for you to decide what it is you want. And so if somebody says no to you, that's okay, because someone else is going to say yes eventually, because you know what you want. And you won't allow anybody to stop you from it. Anticipation map is getting ready for the problems that are going to arise, and they will arise. I won't repeat what I've heard. This is the 5th call in our Successful People series, so I'm not going to repeat what I've already talked about. The bottom left-hand corner is the ritual you do every day to prepare yourself to go out in the world to do some results-generating activity. And then finally, the task map we talked about last week. How do you organize yourself to have some actions you do every day? 3 projects you're going to focus on in 5 years. 3 projects you'll complete portions of in 1 year. And then every day you do some things that are results generating activities. So somebody sent me the answer to the question that I've asked you in these maps. What do I want? What could stop me? How do I prepare? And how do I get it all done? And once again, this was put in the chat, and you can see it there. Just click on that link and it'll give you a copy of that book. And this is another book I want you to have called The Go-Getter. And the audios are called the Blue Base audios, and they will talk about this book. That is also what we're going to talk about here today. All right. So this was Victoria's 3-year ideals, and 1 year done's, and 5 and now what is she going to do today? Now I want everybody to look at what she sent me. She said, okay, Robert, I'm not going to draw this on the map, but 5 years from now, which is the bottom of the list, she says, I hope Victoria's okay with me sharing this. I've taken her name off it, so you don't know her last name. But Victoria sent me, she said, I want to live in a custom home built to my specifications with a 3-2 and a 2-3 car garage. So as soon as I say that, the first question that comes to my mind is my brain is a computer. It wants to know more numbers. So Victoria, this is not enough detail. How big is this house? You say you wanted to have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay, great. How many square feet is it? Where is it? What's the design of it? Why did you go online and find the blueprints of it today? Go online, you can Google house blueprints. You can find a 3-2, and you can see exactly what that house might look like. You can imagine what part of the city do you want it to be in. I'm not asking you just about your city, but where in that city. And if there's a vacant lot in that city, drive by it and take a picture of it and say, this is where I would like to build that house, this plan, these blueprints, this square footage, by what date? And I don't see her putting a date there either. Well, of course, she said her task map was 4/25/20. So I guess she says by 4/25/25, she wants to be living in that house. Her brain wants more detail. The second question is, now we have some detail here. Income of about $10,000 a month from real estate, information marketing, and stocks. Great, great. What kind of real estate? Give me an ideal picture of a type of real estate you'd like. Is it a single family home, a 2-family, a 4-family, 6-family, 8-family, 12-family? Show me a picture of one. Show your brain a picture of one. Now, eventually, as you draw your maps, you don't have to have the pictures there every time, but as you're preparing, yeah, you should have some more detail. How much is coming from real estate? How much is coming from information marketing? How much is coming from the stock market? I need to know some details. Enjoy good health. What does that mean? Now, forgive me, Victoria, for pointing you out. Everybody does this. I can't tell you how many times I've said this to people. Give me some detail. And they all do this. They give me the generalized stuff. But that's not what I'm looking for. And that's not what your brain is looking for. It wants to know some detail. Because it's a computer. It wants something to compute. So it can't, what is enjoy good health? Well, like when you go to the doctor is going to take some detailed measurements of your current body measurements. So where are you today? What do you weigh? What's your blood pressure? What is your blood type? What is your resting heartbeat? How many breaths do you take? Yada, yada, yada. The doctor is going to take some tests. That's when they do a test of your body. So what do you want those numbers to be 5 years from now? Enjoying good health is not good enough. It doesn't give you anything to really to shoot for. So when I come back to the 1-year goal, or done, purchase a home. Okay. Before the 25th of April, 2021, she wants to buy a home. How big is that home? What would be an ideal home for you to buy that you could afford a year from now? Have you checked to see whether you could afford the mortgage for it now? Have you prepared yourself to get your credit figured out? Because within the year, you're probably gonna have to get a mortgage. So have you found your mortgage broker yet? Do you have your down payment ready yet? In other words, I want some more specifics. And this is my credit rating. This is the down payment I expect to have. This is the kind of home I'm going to buy. This is the kind of mortgage I'm going to have. If the interest rates are, 4%, then this is the monthly payment that I'll be having. That's what I mean by numbers. The first time you do this chart, you get really specific on it. And then, of course, as you go year after year, or day after day after day after day, you don't want to draw that out every day, everything. So you're living in a custom home. Yeah, you'll have to just say how many square feet it is. Continue healthy eating program. Is that specific? What are you eating every day? How many calories are you eating? How do I know what healthy means, right? These are the foods that I want to add more in my life. What is the list? when you go to the store, etc. Purchase income properties, flips and rentals. Okay, great, super. What's an ideal flip? What's the ideal percentage you're looking for below market? How will you find them? In other words, the more specific you get on the dones, if there's more detail there, it'll be easy for you to get started. In other words, the more detail when we come to our now, let's go to now, evaluate credit card debt, amass a down payment for a house. Good. Okay, good. How much debt are we talking about? Now, this is private for Victoria, but Victoria, I think you should write that number down. I have $16,000 worth of credit card debt. I need to get rid of that debt, and I need to, get ready for the down payment for this mortgage I'm going to get. Lose weight, how much? Today. You're going to lose weight today? Well, how much are you going to lose today? Did you get on the scale this morning? Do you know what you weighed at the beginning of the day, what you expect to weigh by the end of the day? See what I'm saying? It's not enough detail. And move to less expensive apartment. Like what will be your rent budget? Now, on the nows, there's a book called, it's called by David Allen, and the Allens have a good name, right? David Allen wrote a book called Getting Things Done or something like that. And one of his lessons from that book is a very good lesson is if you'll put in your to-do list today what you're going to get, what you're going to do, if you'll actually write down, for example, if you say need to make an appointment to find a mortgage broker, for example, suppose we're talking about Victoria. If I just write down call mortgage broker, that's okay. But if I actually in my planning, if I write the number of the mortgage broker down, write the number down and the name of that person on your to-do list, then it will get done. But because you know what the next step is. So when you write a must list of those 3 things you must get done today, then I want you to write down what's the next step. And you'll read this in David Allen's book. Very detailed book, very thick book, very not thick this way, thick this way. It's almost too complicated for me, to tell you the truth. But this is one idea I got out of it I really like. Write down and on your to-do list, what's the next step? So the next step would be call this person. And if the next step is I have to go find out the number of that next, that's not good enough. I want to be able, the next step, I look at that, I make that call, right? So this is I want to thank Victoria for sending her 4 maps, her map number 4, which is the task map, for us to kind of learn some lessons from it, right? If any of you ever do send me your 4 maps, and if they're not detailed, like I just did with Victoria, I'm going to send them back. I'm going to say, not enough detail. I won't even respond to comment about it. I'll just say, not enough detail, goodbye. Because it's not enough detail for your brain to have that next step in it. Now, let's finish our conversation today about the Blue Vase audios, which are found in the chat. And this is the link that'll take you there. You can't click on this because we're on Zoom. But if you go on the chat, you'll see the link. Copy that link. It'll take you to my Dropbox account. You'll be able to download like 12 or 13 audios. This book is broken down into 12 or 13 audios. And then you'll be able to get this book called The Go-Getter. It's in public domain, so it's available to you. It was written in the 20s. So we just finished with the First World War. So I think I mentioned this to you the other day, but I don't know if I gave you the link to download the book. I found out today as I was doing research that there was a book a movie shot of this book. I haven't seen it, but the guy who wrote this book was the screenwriter for the movie. And one of these days, if anybody can find me the link, I'd like to watch that movie to see what it was like. It was done in like 1937, so as we're just coming out of the Depression. The Go-Getter is a story about a veteran who comes back home and can't find a job. And he goes to find a job, and everybody sees that he's missing a limb. And I can't remember whether it's an arm or a leg, but he's been disabled. And when he comes in to talk to anybody to get a job, they turn him away. And so he finally comes into one place to get a job, and he says, I'm here. I'm your guy. And they said, no, thank you. And he said this to the lower level employees. And so he found his way to the president, into the office of the president. And he says, your team has told me they don't want me, but they don't know me, and they don't know what I can do. And I am your man. I am the guy. I can do it. And the owner gives him, the owner says, okay, well, let me talk to my vice presidents to find out if that might work. And he calls them in. And they are saying, here's the man. Why didn't you hire him? And they said, well, we have enough employees right now. And he said, did you give him the blue vase test? And they said, no, because we don't think he could pass the test. And he said, well, give him the blue vase test. And if he can pass it, then he's earned the right for the job. And if he can't pass it, we don't want him. And so they give him the blue vase test, which is a very difficult, almost impossible task to find a blue vase in the window. And in the story that you listen to, it'll be in the window of a San Francisco store. And the blue vase is a beautiful antique vase inside this antique store, and it's been displayed for everybody to see as they're walking by the street. And the owner says, I'm going to Santa Barbara on the train, and I need this blue vase before I leave. So go get the blue vase, charge it to my account, and thank you very much. You know. So they send him to go find the blue vase. Well, the blue vase, they gave him the wrong address on purpose, the wrong address. And most people would take the task, and they would come to the address that they were given, and they would go, oh, no, must not be here. And they would call, the owner up on the phone and say, you gave me the wrong address. But the phones were silent. Nobody was answering any of the phones. So there was no way to communicate with the people who gave him the blue vase test. And that's what normal people do. There's nobody to call and not talk to, then I just won't go get the blue vase. And therefore they failed the test. Now our blue vaser, he is not deterred by the fact that it's on the wrong address. He says, well, maybe they gave me the wrong address. Is it on another street? And so he goes looking until he finds the right street. And it takes him a while to find this right street where now there it is. There's the blue vase. The store is closed. Most people would say, store is closed, let's wait till Monday. But not him. No. And as you get into further and further into the story, I'm not going to go all the way through the story for you. But the bottom line is, at every turn, he is given another obstacle on purpose. He doesn't know that he's being given a test. The vice presidents and the chairman of the board, they know that he is under observation. And if he gets the blue vase, which very few people ever succeed, but when they succeed, when they go through every hoop and every obstacle, the anticipation map, when they cover every obstacle, and they bring the blue vase to the chairman on the train while it's going to Santa Barbara, that's all I'm going to tell you. then when he's delivered the blue vase, then it's like it's a no-brainer. This is our guy. This is the man. He did what was impossible to do, and we gave him. We were the ones that put the obstacles in his way to see whether he could overcome them. When I hire somebody, I made them listen to this blue vase audios, and read this book. I want them to have some vocabulary. And the vocabulary is, are you a blue vaser? Meaning, if I give you a task to do, I probably won't give you enough information. I'll just say, blue vase it. And now they've read the book and they've listened to the audios, they know what I mean. And what I mean is, don't come back without the blue vase. And I don't care how you get it, as long as it's legal and moral, obviously. But whatever it takes, ruffle some feathers, whatever you do. And some people in my life have been blue vasers, and some partners in my life have been the blue vasers of all time. When they were given an opportunity or a challenge to do something, they just went and did it. They may have done it roughly at first, but it just gets done. And the real question about, are you a blue vaser? Somebody gives you a task to do, you get it done. And that's what I mean. The results generating activity, most people, they won't do the results generating activities because it requires failure. It requires them to fail, to fail, and to try it in a different way, to go, when the obstacle is placed in front of them and the obstacle is saying no, they have to find another way to say yes, you get the world to say yes. So are you a blue vaser? And so I want you to listen to this. And if you have employees in your team, make them listen to it. There's another story that goes along with it. It's called the Three Sons. Three sons of the owner. And this is another thing I give to employees. I tell them the story just like I'm going to tell it right to you. And it's written out, the Three Sons. It's got a little more detailed than what I'll say it to you today. But a fellow comes into the office and says to the employer, how's business? He said, it's really good. It's really good. And gets a call from the airport where a plane has just arrived, and sometimes it's a ship, an airplane, sometimes it's a boat. Let's say it's an airplane, and the airplane has arrived. It has some merchandise on the airplane that some of it was destined for him, for his business, and so he calls in. He says, I want to show you what it's like with my sons. So I'm going to give my sons this assignment. Let's see how they do. Calls in one son. He says to the son, airplane just arrived. It's down at the airport. There's some merchandise on there for us. Find out what's on the plane. Find out if there's anything that we need to do about it, and let me know. And about 20 minutes later, this son comes back and says, there's some cargo there. It's some of our things. It's some of the antiques we were looking for, some of the products we wanted to create that were made for us in Asia. And he gives a brief report and says, thank you very much. Okay. So he calls in the second son. And while the man is, his friend is sitting there, he says to the second son, planes just came in, it's got some merchandise there. Give me a report, what's in it, what we should do about it. Second son is gone. He's gone for an hour or two. He comes back and he gives a report. Says, I've checked with the manifest. This is the manifest that shows the items that are on the manifest. Shows these items are there. These items are there. Gives them the whole complete list. Did you see them physically? Yeah, I took a quick look to see what was there. Thank you very much. And he says, thank you and goodbye. Then he calls the third son in. He tells him the same assignment, and says to his friend, this is my third son. And off the third son goes and doesn't come back till the end of the day. And of course, he and his friend have gone out to lunch and they've had a good day of it. But the third son finally comes back And he said, yeah, I checked the manifest, but it was not right. It's not accurate. Actually went on the plane as they were unloading everything, and I counted up all the boxes, and we had some boxes that we needed to put in our inventory, and I've already had those sent to the warehouse, and they are ready for shipping out. We've got the orders going out to our various different customers. There were some items on there that I asked if we could look at it. I looked at it and I liked them, and I thought they were really good. They're not part of our company's needs, but I know somebody in another city who could maybe use these things. I called them on the phone. I said, hey, I've got 1,000 of these widgets here. It's not something we would sell, but I want to know if you would like to take a look at them. And he says, you buy them sight unseen? Great. Well, we'll just add a little bit of cost on that for our little trouble worth of profit, and we'll send them off to you. And here they come. He says, we made a little profit on that stuff that I've already sent off. And when I went to the very back of the plane, as the last thing they put on the plane didn't make it on the manifest. But this was where the real good stuff was. These are the best antiques I have ever seen. And why they didn't make it on the manifest is probably a last minute boarding. So they just didn't make it on the list here. And I've already found where we're going to sell these things. We're going to make a profit of about $30,000 from this stuff that nobody really knew was there. And so I'm just making a report. I've got to go back down to the warehouse to make sure everything gets taken care of. So anyway, that's my report. Thank you very much. So the two men are talking now at the very end, and he says, you see my 3 sons? The first son didn't do what he was told to do. He was told to go down, check it out. He just made a phone call. He didn't do what I told him to do. The second son only did what I told him to do. Told him to go down, look, check the manifest. He did what I told him to do. The third son, he did what I didn't tell him to do. That's why he makes 10 times as much money as brother number 1, and about 50 times as much money as brother number 2 and brother number 1. That's why he earns so much money, because he thinks like I think. He's not an employee. An employee just does what you tell them to do, or does what you don't tell them to do, or doesn't do what you tell them to do. But a person who thinks like the owner does what you don't tell them to do. And so when I go into a store, any store, and they go the extra mile, I always tell them, all right, you must be the manager. They go, how did you know? It's because you think like the boss. If you ask an employee and they don't do what you tell them to do, you say, you're an employee, you're an hourly person. So these 2 stories I share with my teens. And I say to them, what kind of job do you want me to do? I want you to be the third son. Not the second son, not the first son, be the third son. And be a blue vaser. 2 things. One is just going beyond, thinking like the owner. And number 2 is not letting anything stand in your way. And if a person does those 2 things, as the third son or the third daughter, you can tell it however you want to tell the story. You could say it was a women-run business. The third daughter or the third son and a blue vaser, those 2 attitudes are what makes a results generating activity work. It's somebody who gets the job done. They are results generators. They make things happen. They're a make it happen person, not a learn it happen person. And when you walk out the door from your ritual and you start doing your tasks, these are tasks that require yeses and nos. They require real interaction with real people. That's where it requires you not to be afraid of what they're going to say, because you're a blue vaser, because you're the third son, okay? Now, let's make sure everybody's got, at the very top up here, I've got the Blue Vase audios at the very top of the chat. The Blue Vase audios, you can copy that link to the Blue Vase for you to listen to it. And then the link right below it is the 4 Maps book. Now today, a TCB, huh? What's a TCB? Okay, great point. All right. Okay, you gave the link from last time. Thank you. Oh, and Bunny is sharing with us the link from last time, which was the Think and Grow Rich book. So Bunny is giving away my stuff. It's okay, Bunny. So she's saying, here is the link to the Think and Grow Rich book. So you got 3 gifts for coming today. Now, before we leave, I want to thank all of those of you who last time we talked about a program that I'm launching, and it has been launched. It's the $1 Million Mindset book, Mind Shift book, that we launched last time. It was a call that we did last Friday and the Friday before. So the last 2 Fridays, we launched this program. The program is actually physically launched last night. So so you've missed the first session. You can watch the replay if you want to join with us. If you want to get a copy of the $1 Million Mind Shift book, I'm not giving that book away today. You have to actually watch a webinar to really learn about what's going on. Within 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be giving the book away. But for now, if you want a strategy session with somebody who's still interested and you missed it, you want to have a strategy session, just take that link right there and click a link, and you can make a 30-minute free strategy session with a member of my team to see whether or not writing a book in the next 90 days is on your list. I see some of you are already in the program. It started last night. Some of the names I recognize. Congratulations for you. If you want to still see if it's for you, you can call. You can click on that link, and that will take you to Max's calendar, where you can book an appointment to talk to him. And let me put that into the link right now for those of you who are still maybe want to have some interest in that. Here we go. Set your appointments with Max is the name, and he'll talk to you to see whether this is right for you or not. Okay. Now I need you to go back over what we just talked about today. I need you to think, what did you learn today? What were some thoughts, some ahas you had from today's conversation? Look at your notes. What did Bob talk about today? This is our weekly conversation about how to get through this crisis. Did today's conversation help you prepare for when you go into the world to get yeses and nos? You're more ready. Was this a valuable session for you? And what was your aha from today? Because looks like Bunny has already talked to Max, and Max does rock. He's awesome. Thank you, Bunny. TCB means taking care of business. Okay, you're a TCB person. I need you to teach me what got through to you today. And teach me, what were the ahas? Now, while you're typing your aha, why do I do this? Is it because I want to feel my ego stroke that maybe I taught something was valuable to you today? Well, yes, of course, there's a little bit of that in there, but the reason I'm asking you to scan through your brain, I want you to know, what did you get? What was the aha where you went, that makes sense. Got it. Because if you don't capture the aha, guess what will happen? It'll be gone within 15 minutes. Ahas, you'll have ahas every day. Where a thought will flash through your brain and you go, yeah, that's a good idea. But since you didn't write it down and remember it and isolate it and focus on it, it doesn't become part of your life. It just flashed through your mind. Off you go back to your habitual pattern. Sometimes these ahas are inspired by universe. Universe is dropping thoughts into your head every day. And it's placed into your mind into a very complicated critical voice mindset, where this thought, this positive thought will come into your mind, and it'll be true, and it'll be the right thing to do, and you'll know it just for a few seconds. And then your brain takes over again, and the aha is lost. And the ahas can also be from your own experience, from your own wisdom, things you've learned in your life. And maybe it's something you've been struggling with for a long time. And you get the aha, and you go, oh, that's why I'm so disorganized. And you didn't write it down. So when you write this down and teach me what you learned, it drives it deeper into you. So wherever you see me teach, I'm going to ask this question every time. Why? Because the teacher wants the lessons to be driven into the action oriented, into your to-do list. So you'll do it, right? You won't learn to say, oh, that was a great call. What did he talk about? Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, we'll be on the call next week, you know. Pick one idea that you learned today and put it into your life. Schedule it into your life. Take out your phone. Schedule it right now. That's the best way. That's the David Allen routine, which is the very next step. So schedule it into your life so you won't forget it, and put a time down when you'll do it. And then when it gets to that time in your calendar, do it. All right? Okay, good. All right, so now I get to read what you learned today. Okay? And you get to drive those lessons deeper into you. All right. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, good. All right. I've never had anyone describe RGA like that. Oh, so you got RGA, and since those are my initials, you'll never forget them, right? I'm clear that unless I've gotten a yes or no, then I've not gotten any results for that day. Whoa. That's a pretty strong statement, isn't it? I'm sure there'll be a couple of things that'll break the rule on that one, but generally speaking, you want a yes or a no, right? Simbarashe Mu, all right, the story of the blue vase, it shows that you have to keep knocking and not accept the first no. In our book, The 1 Minute Millionaire, I share that the story is about a person who doesn't take the first no. I'll let you read that later. Okay, good. You understand the difference between what generates a result. Okay, good. Getting yeses and nos. So it sounds like that was the one you got a lot. What does the ideal look like? And have the detail of the ideal. Good. I like your distinctions between results and preparation activities. Thank you. That's the difference between the ritual map and the task map. The ritual map is preparation. The task map is results generating activity. Victoria, is this being recorded? Are you kidding? Yes, Victoria. I hope that's okay because we've used your name. I need to go deep to get into space. Isn't that strange? You got to go deep down to get into space. From Linda, okay, good. Never, ever, ever give up. Stop allowing others to have the power to distract you from your blue vase. Very good. Or blue vase, however you say it. How do you get the recording? Good question. Eventually, there'll be a website that we're going to set up where I'll send you the site and you can download it there. For now, it's kind of a pain in the butt for it because everyone, when you send me an email at connect@robertallen.com, I have to send you the link, which is what I'll do for this class. And then by next class, we'll not do that any longer. Okay, so connect@robertallen.com is where you get the link for the recording today. Okay. Task map was subpar. Focus is funny. What is the GA for my initials? Robert Grant Allen. There we go. Specific duns. Good. You're a skyscraper, Charles. Yes, you're a skyscraper. Some people are little shacks. That's all their life amounted to. And that's okay. There's a lot to learn in eternity. Life is not the only place we learn. You'll be learning forever. So this is a good place to get the ahas and do them. Daily Foundation, specific, okay. Yeah, the rocket ship, the visual, thank you, Nikki. What's not on the calendar doesn't exist. Ooh, I like that quote. Who said that? What's not in the calendar? I didn't say that, but Bernard Freilich did. And I want to give you a quote for that. What's not in the calendar? I'm going to put that in my quote book. I didn't say it that way, but that's the way you heard it. So it's your quote from Bernard Freilich. Okay, everybody, gotta go. God bless. See you next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye, everyone.